number 1, national champions, the best in the land. The Alabama gymnastics team won it all in 1996 and did it in its home arena. This is the story of Sarah Patterson's national champions and the road they took to the title. I'm Tom Roberts from the Alabama Sports Network. John Gentile and David Crane join me in telling you the story of this glorious season of 1996.
Now, please stand and deliver the time. Your Alabama Crimson Tide. A three-time All-American, two-time Scholastic All-American with a 4.0 GPA this fall from Clements, North Carolina, Meredith Willard. Competing for the Tide tonight from Birmingham, sophomore Heather Nasser. An All-American on the balance beam at uneven bars from Austin, Texas, Stephanie Woods. A sophomore Scholastic All-American on the Dean's List last semester from Collinsville, Illinois, Danielle McAdams. Earning All-American and Scholastic All-American honors as a freshman last season and on the Dean's List from Fort Worth, Texas, sophomore Merritt Booth. A senior All-American and Scholastic All-American with a 4.0 GPA last semester, Marna Neubauer. From Greensboro, North Carolina, joining the Tide for her freshman year, Mandy Chapman. A freshman joining the Tide from Gallatin, Missouri, Gwen Spidle. Returning for her sophomore season from Canton, Michigan, Shay Murphy. Returning to competition tonight, senior All-American Kim Kelly. From Houston, Texas, an All-American on the uneven bars, junior Kim Bonaventura. Alabama is coached by Sarah and David Patterson in their 18th year at the capstone and assisted by Scott Mackall.
That's the team that opened 1996 with a road win at Auburn. Meredith Willard on the bars, and 9.85, she won the all-around. Meredith was topped by her own teammate Stephanie Woods on the bars. Even though she practiced only once in the week before the meet, Woods earned a 9.925, the best score in the SEC. Bama wrapped up a 5-point blowout of the Tigers with great scores on the floor, including this performance by Marna Neubauer. By the way, Coach Patterson has still never lost to Auburn. After the Auburn meet, she also had the #1 team in America. The Tide strengthened its hold on the top spot with a dominating win over Penn State and Nebraska. John Gentile has details.
More than 7,600 fans knew this was Bama's night when Meredith Willard won the vault with this 9.85. The start of a great night for the Tide junior. Sophomore Merritt Booth kept it going. She finished second in both the vault and the floor. This vault earned her a 9.8 from the judges.
It was great. It was real exciting to know that our hometown and the fans that, in the crowd were there to root us on and there to help us out. And it's a real impact on how we perform.
After the vault, Stephanie Woods hit the bars. And look at Stephanie work her way to a 9.9. That was good enough for another Tide win, with Willard and Marna Neubauer tying for second place. The Tide was well on its way to a lopsided win when Danielle McAdams took to the balance beam. The sophomore racked up a 9.825, and Bama swept the event with freshman Mandy Chapman taking second. and Willard third.
I was real excited that we had such a great crowd, and two top-level teams, Nebraska ranked at 11th and Penn State at 12th. And although those teams had some problems in the meet, I think that by the end they'll be very strong and competitive, and you can expect to see possibly them return here for the NCAA championships in April. But I was real pleased that we went 24 for 24 routines. I think that's a great accomplishment. It's very difficult to do in the sport of gymnastics, but we still have some room for improvement.
By the time Shay Murphy started her floor routine, Bama already had wrapped up the meet. The Tide had racked up a season-high 195.725, 4 points ahead of Penn State, better than 7 in front of Nebraska. And Willard took the all-around honors with a total score of 39.35, just beating out teammate Marna Neubauer, who finished second.
The Tide kept rolling with its second home meet. Kim Kelly's debut for the season against number 3 Florida.
More than 9,000 fans showed up for this battle of national powers, and all eyes were on Bama's Kim Kelly when she lined up for her first vault of the year. Kelly admitted to a case of nerves, but she said she picked up energy from the fans. She finished the vault with a 9.825, later racked up a 9.95 on the floor exercise, and it was obvious her teammates were glad to have their veteran back in the lineup. Kelly saw junior Meredith Willard win the all-around honors again. Meredith started the night with this 9.9, good enough for a second-place tie on the vault. Bama took control on the bars. Stephanie Wood showed she's completely recovered from an early season illness. This routine earned her a 9.9 on the bars, good enough for first place. Marna Neubauer kept the Tide rolling. She took second on the bars with this 9.875, and Willard finished third as Bama swept the bars by 2 points. On the beam, Woods continued to roll. She was almost flawless with a 9.925. That left her in second place, but put Bama solidly in front going to the floor exercise. The Tide wrapped it up on floor thanks to efforts like this from Merritt Booth. She'd been limited by a foot injury, but earned a 9.85. Willard won the floor with Kelly second, and Bama had swept the Gators. The final margin was better than 3 points, and that's a virtual rout in gymnastics.
Now the Tide was really beginning to dominate the national standings, still number 1 as a team, and as Stephanie shows us, a major force on the beam. At midseason, she was the best in the nation. Danielle McAdams was third, Meredith Willard was sixth. Needless to say, Bama was number 1 on the beam, the best among all gymnastics teams in the U.S. The February ratings also showed Marna Neubauer as number 3 in the country in all-around scores. Marna and the Tide hit the road for a couple of February meets, losing at Georgia, winning at Kentucky. Then came a blowout in Tuscaloosa, a rout of Massachusetts. Kim Kelly continued her comeback with a 9.85 on the vault and 9.9 on the floor. Another comeback started against UMass. Kim Bonaventura made her first appearance of the season after shoulder surgery. She was great on the beam, racking up a 9.8. You can say that Kimbo was back, and she knew just how consistent Bama had been during the first 2 months of the season.
Yeah, the team has been very consistent, and it just shows that with some setbacks, we can still, make it further through the season. There's still much more potential that we have to contribute to the team.
Kimbo and the Tide went to LSU, beating the Tigers by more than 3 points. Bama posted season highs on the bars, the beam, and the floor. Then it was time for a rematch with Georgia, this time at Coleman Coliseum before an SEC record crowd.
When number 1 goes against number 2, you expect a big crowd. In this case, it was an SEC record crowd to watch the Tide and the Bulldogs. 13,563 fans at Coleman Coliseum.
And it was an amazing night. The crowd was incredible. We had super teamwork, and Georgia did a great job, and yet we still finished on top, so it was a super meet.
It was just a tremendous moment. I think that, was electrifying, the crowd, record-breaking, and I just think all those things factored in together to make just a magnificent evening.
They saw Merritt Booth lead the way on the vault. She posted a 9.95. Meredith Willard got the same score. She started her way to another all-around title.
She's more confident, she's healthy, and I think that makes a huge difference. And I think she's learned more on how to allow us to manage her practice so that she can remain healthy, and I think that's a big key to it.
On the bars, Marna Neubauer impressed the judges with this routine. She earned a 9.90. However, Bama fell behind, despite this 9.925 by Stephanie Woods, a season high. Georgia was hitting its vaults, and the Dogs were up by 0.2 of a point after 2 events. That's when Bama took over, starting on the beam. Look at Kim Kelly with her routine. Fans loved it. The judges gave her a 9.9. The crowd really roared when Woods tied her season high with this 9.925, while Georgia gymnasts were taking their falls on the floor exercise. No falls, though, for Bama, as Danielle McAdams stuck her full twisting double back somersault and a career-high 9.875. That started the tide on a school record for the floor exercise. Willard won it with a 9.95. She also took the all-around title and now ranks #1 in the nation.
Oh, actually, I didn't know that till just now. But like I said, it's really not important, just as long as the team's doing well.
Bama wound up beating Georgia by almost a full point. And when Kelly debuted her new floor routine, Tide fans were ready to celebrate their win over the #1 Bulldogs.
We've been really consistent, so nothing changed in that area, and I think they handled the pressure real well. I think that, it was a lot tougher out there than they let on. They made it look a little easier than I think it truly was.
After another win in the Corvette Cup at the University of Missouri, it was senior night in T-Town, the final regular season performance for 2 seniors, Marna Neubauer and Kim Kelly. Kim started her final appearance with this vault, a pike double front somersault. She landed it perfectly to a standing ovation from the crowd. The judges agreed with the fans, giving Kelly her 5th career 10 on the vaults. Marna also enjoyed senior night. She picked up a season-high 9.875 on the vault. That started Bama to a season-high and Coliseum record vault score of 49.5. Tide never looked back at the Tigers. Kelly faced Bama again on the uneven bars. This routine earned her a career-high 9.925, and Kim was doing all of it on a bad ankle that kept her from competing in the all-around. Stephanie Woods posted a 9.9 on the bars, and Bama closed out its win over the Tigers by winning the floor exercise. Meredith Willard got a 9.9 here, that won her the all-around competition with a 39.45, and Bama won the meet, beating the Tigers by almost 3 full points. With the cheers still ringing in their ears, Tide ladies headed to the SEC Championships at the University of Kentucky, and they posted a great score, 196.95. Unfortunately, Georgia was just a tad better, and the Bulldogs took the SEC title. Bama's Kim Kelly finished second in the all-around competition, and Coach Patterson really liked what her team did, even though the Tide did not repeat as conference champions.
I think if you'd told me before the meet that we would perform like that and score 196.95 points and not win the championship, I would have told you were crazy. I mean, it was a great performance by our team, and unfortunately we just caught a team that was also red hot on that particular night, and we came up a few tenths short. But I told our ladies that, it's the first of 3 championships we have an opportunity to win, and now our focus is on going to the Central Regionals and hopefully returning here for the NCAA championship.
Well, Sarah really liked what she saw the next time Bama competed at the NCAA Central Regional in Baton Rouge. All the Tide did was clinch the #1 seed in the national championship with a record performance in the regional. Bama started its record book assault on the vault. Kelly won it with a 9.95. Kim Bonaventura and Meredith Willard tied for second at 9.925, and Meredith Booth was fourth at 9.9. This is the kind of night it was. Look at Bonaventura, who competed on vault in only 2 other meets this year.
I think we were just nervous because we knew how we could perform and we knew what we could do at the regional competition. And so I think us being nervous made us pull more together as a team to sit there and say, you know, we can do this. And so I think we were together as a team.
Next, Bama went to the uneven bars and set a school record with a 49.55. This is freshman Gwen Spidle. She tied for 3rd at 9.9 with Kelly and Marna Neubauer. Willard and Stephanie Woods tied for 1st at the regionals with 9.925s. Next up, the beam. That's Meredith Willard finishing her routine. She, Kelly, and Woods all hit 9.9s, and Coach Sarah Patterson knew the tie was on track for a record. Then it was Kelly with her new routine to Yay, Alabama and Sweet Home, Alabama. All she did was lead the way to Bama's best ever showing on the floor. The senior flawless in the regionals, the judges rewarded her with a perfect 10. Willard, Danielle McAdams, and Shay Murphy tied for 2nd with great 9.9s of their own. The Tide sweep continued the all-round. The top 3 places belonged to Bama. Kelly and Willard tied their career best, and Danielle McAdams had her top score ever to finish 3rd.
It was definitely the best meet of my life. I finally had a meet where I hit everything, and all my hard work has paid off, and everybody did a great job. You know, everybody was very consistent and got, you know, what we worked for.
Back in Sweet Home, Alabama, it was time for the grand finale, the main event, the national championship meet at Coleman Coliseum, and the Tide won it all. Let's start with championship night and David Crane's recap of a Bama celebration.
The gymnastics world focused its eyes on Tuscaloosa last weekend as the NCAA championships took center stage at Coleman Coliseum. Alabama, the number 1 seed, competed in the preliminary competition on Thursday night and got off to a solid start on the vault thanks to a pair of 9.95s by Merritt Booth and Marna Neubauer. But the Tide faltered on both the bars and the beam and was forced to make a strong finish on the floor. A 49.525 in the final event gave Bama a 196.325 final score, good for first place in the evening session, and a spot in Friday night's Super 6.
We did it the hard way. That's the first meet all year that we've had more than 2 breaks all season. But now maybe we've got that out of us and we can come back in tomorrow night and really enjoy it.
Friday night truly was the main event as Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, Oregon State, UCLA, and Utah battled for the team title. Alabama's night started on the bars, and the 49.475 by the Tide was the highest by any team for that event. Next came the beam, and a shaky start as Meredith Willard fell in the team's first performance. It would take 5 solid routines for the Crimson Tide to stay in contention, and a near disaster was averted when Danielle McAdams somehow managed to stay on.
We go to balance beam and Meredith falls for the first time this year. Meredith is our rock. She has not missed a routine all year until then. And I just walked over to the girls that were sitting in the area there, and I knew they were nervous, and I just said, you know, Meredith has been there for us all year long. We will do teamwork, and we will have 5 beam routines, and we will be just fine. And they did. They pulled together, and Danielle fought the hardest I've ever seen someone fight to stay on that beam, and Stephanie came through like she always does, and it was tremendous.
The floor had been good to Bama on Thursday, but Friday night would bring even better things. After Shay Murphy's 9.825 to start the rotation, the Tide went on a spectacular roll. Marna Neubauer scored a 9.85. Merritt Booth improved on that with a 9.875. Kim Kelly then electrified the nearly 11,000 fans on hand with a perfect 10. Meredith Willard and Danielle McAdams capped off the event with a pair of 9.95s, and Alabama had set a new standard on the floor, an NCAA record 49.625.
We went to floor, that crowd got behind us. They were just rocking and rolling, and floor has been a tremendous event for us. And the other thing, too, is we have a lot of good floor routines, and some of them have been doing them for 2 years now, our sophomore class, and I think they have really picked up on that.
With one event remaining, the main event had become a two-team race between Alabama and, somewhat surprisingly, the number 6 seed UCLA. Leading the Bruins by only 0.05 of a point, the Crimson Tide finished on the vault. Merritt Booth gave Bama a good start with a 9.925. Kim Bonaventura recorded a 9.0, as did Marna Neubauer, but once again, the Tide started to roll. Danielle McAdams had a career night, and she recorded her first career 10.
It was absolutely incredible. I was really surprised. I knew that, these last few weeks we had really been drilling landings. That's what we had been working on so hard in practice, and I knew that I could do it because I did it in practice, and I just wanted to go out there and do my best, and it happened.
Bama was pulling away, and to pad the lead further, Kim Kelly followed with a 10 of her own. Meredith Willard drove the final nail home with a 9.95, and Alabama finished with another NCAA record of 49.775 on the vault. The suspense was over. A 198.025 meant Alabama would not finish second for a fourth straight year. The Tide was once again number 1.
Well, I guess we don't have to be the bridesmaid anymore, right? Today we get to be the bride. This has been, in 18 years, and I told them this today, the most memorable and most wonderful year of coaching that David and I have ever experienced. I'm amazed day in and day out at how these athletes are, and it's just been, our slogan was enjoy the journey, and then tonight we said, okay, we've enjoyed the journey, now we're gonna enjoy our destiny.
UCLA finished second at 197.475. Georgia and Utah were third at 196.775. The season-long journey had come to an end, and at the end, the Crimson Tide found its third national championship trophy.
The Tide also found itself winning the all-around title in Meredith Willard.
I don't worry about individual accomplishments at all. In fact, I would definitely give this in for a team title tomorrow night.
Fortunately for Bama, Meredith didn't have to swap one for the other. She has both, an all-around title and a national championship. Her award-winning night started with this 9.825 on the vault. Willard kept up her performance with a 9.9 on the bars, a very important mark for the Tide, since Bama had 2 other gymnasts fall and had to count one of those marks. It was clear the junior was very much a leader in Bama's march toward Friday's Super 6.
We had a couple mistakes that we don't normally have, but I think it was good practice for us because we fought back and we had a lot of teamwork, and things ended up very well for us, and we know that we can have a couple breaks and still come back.
Willard was competing against the best individual performers in the country, including Kentucky's Jenny Hansen, who'd won the all-around title 3 years in a row. When Hansen came out of high school, she was highly recruited. That wasn't the case with Willard.
I just felt she was one of those diamonds in the rough, and David came back from a recruiting trip, and he said, you need to see this girl. She's just incredible. This is the one we need. And so then I went up, and after I went to her house and visited with the parents, I called them up and I said, you're right, that's the one we need.
Patterson's had 2 other all-around title winners at Alabama, Penny Hofschild and Dee Foster. They were in the crowd Thursday night when Willard posted a 9.925, her best mark of the night, on the floor. That score gave her the all-round honors with a mark of 39.450. On Saturday night, Willard picked up her trophy for the all-around championship. She was all smiles, and so were Bama fans, because Meredith will be back in '97 for her senior season. Saturday night also produced 2 more championships for Bama gymnasts. John Gentile has the story of titles for Stephanie Woods and Kim Kelly.
Another Crimson Tide night started with Stephanie Woods getting Bama fans excited with her routine on the uneven bars. She was only the second finalist to perform, but when Woods got a 9.975 from the judges, the competition was over. The score gave her the first bars championship in Bama history.
I'm just really excited to be able to go out there and perform my best. And I mean, I was not expecting to come out here and win tonight. My main goal was just to go out there and have fun and do my best. But I'm so excited the way it turned out.
In the vault, the Tide had 2 top 10 finishers. Merritt Booth took 5th with this 9.8625. Marna Neubauer finished 9th. The most emotional part of this night came when Kim Kelly started her floor routine. To the strains of Yay Alabama and Sweet Home Alabama, Kim made her final appearance for the Tide and came close to tears.
I was going for that last pass, my last oval, and I was pretty tired, but I pulled it out, and when I landed, I just knew that was it, that was the end, and I almost started crying in the middle of my routine. And when I ended, it just all came to such a perfect ending, winning the national championship last night for the team, and then just tonight, and it's just been such a wonderful career, especially the last 4 years here at Alabama, and it's just a wonderful experience.
Kelly finished the routine to rousing cheers, and when the judges posted their marks, she had her second 10 in as many nights. As she celebrated, her teammate Willard burst into tears. In fact, there weren't many dry eyes in the Coliseum.
You have to understand that Meredith is, she's a team player more than anything else, and she, I think, is close to all her teammates, and when she knew that was the end of Kim's career, I think it really got to her, and she started crying. And she said, I can't go out and do this. She goes, because I'm crying. And I said, well, I'm sure the judge will give us just a second if I go and ask her. And I just think that it shows the kind of team unity that these young ladies have on this team and how close we are. And, I think she would have rather have enjoyed the moment for Kim than rather compete for herself.
Kelly won the floor, sharing the honors with Arizona's Heidi Hornbeek. Bama took 3rd place in the event when Danielle McAdams posted a 9.925 with this routine. And while Kelly closed out her career, McAdams and bars champ Woods will be back next year as Bama defends its national championship.
Also back next year and through the year 2000, Bama's head coach Sarah Patterson. She had her contract extended right before the NCAA, and her husband David Patterson received a promotion to assistant head coach. That means Bama gymnasts will continue to have outstanding leadership as they go after the Tide's 4th national championship. And what about next year? What will the Pattersons and Bama do for an encore?
The championship moves to Gainesville, Florida next year, and we have a good team coming back. Obviously, we'll miss Kim and Marna, but I think you have to kind of be realistic and know that we've won the championship. We had 3 national individual titles, and you have to realize that in a home setting that's an environment that you just can't duplicate. So whatever we do in the next few years, it will be different because there's nothing like doing it at home, and the emotions that ran through Coleman Coliseum and all of the athletes, the fans, the coaches. I don't think Saturday night when Kim Kelly finished her floor routine with a perfect 10 and ended her career, I don't think there was too many dry eyes in the whole Coliseum.
To conclude our look back at 1996, let's relive that final moment, the climax of the main event. Kim Kelly and Alabama ending the year #1, the national champions.